Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Overdress Bastion Keter Sanctuary deck profile for post-awakening of Chakrabarthi. Big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Bastion deck for the deck profile. The Bastion deck has always been quite a powerhouse of a deck, and it gets even better with the newest support from Awakening of Chakrabarthi because we were given the new Grade 4 Apex Surpassing Sword Bastion Prime, a real powerhouse in the restanding department for the deck as a whole. So very, very scared and happy with the results of the deck. It definitely adds more pressure to the deck that I feel Bastion just didn't really need to compete with all the other decks. But still, they gave Grade 4s to all the 5 main decks from the Overdress series. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride deck, still sticking to the Knight of Heavenly Bow base for the Grade 0. When you went second, you draw a card. 1 Knight of Heavenly Sword Fort. When this unit is rode upon by Knight of Heavenly Spear Rook, reveal 2 Grade 3 from your hand, and then reveal the top card of your deck and call it to rear if it is a unit, or put it into your drop if it isn't. It's really, really good for the setup. It's the only copy you run in the deck. You really don't want to run too many Grade 1s and 2s, but I do also run 1 of the Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks for the Grade 2 in the ride deck. And when this unit is rode upon by Apex Ruler Bastion, you reveal 3 Grade 3 from your hand and draw a card. So it makes up for the whole, risk you take with Sword, since you're just drawing that card. And lastly, our only copy of Apex Ruler Bastion in the deck. It has the restand option when you drive check and reveal Grade 3 after this card, when a Grade 3 drove check. So you have the option for the restand and then also the additional plus power to all of your Grade 3 units. But the main power comes in with the newest Bastion, and that is our Grade 4. It is Apex Surpassing Sword Bastion Prime. On Vanguard, during your turn, all of your front row units get plus 2,000 power. And on Vanguard Circle, once per turn, at the end of the battle, your drive check revealed a Grade 3 or greater card. Put a card with Bastion and its card name from your hand or soul into your drop zone to stand all of your Grade 3 rear guards, and then they get plus 10,000 till end of turn. Those additional attacks gives this deck 5 total attacks without having to rely on the actual over trigger to do so with that pressure. But this is immensely scary because the plus 10, aside from any triggers you would have gotten, the plus 2 from all of your front row units that this card also gives, and all you have to do is soul blast the Bastion or put it from your hand even. But most of the time you have the Grade 3 provided for that drop, so that's where that main usage will come from. For the Grade 3s, I'm also running 4 Grand Heavenly Sword Alden. This card, the fact that we got it in the first set is very, very surprising. When this unit's placed on rear, Counter Blast 2, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your hand, call it to rear, and if you call it a Grade 3, draw 2 cards. So you're making up for the card you called off of this card, and when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more Grade 3 units, this unit gets plus 5,000 to end of turn, adding on to the power that Bastion will already provide for this card, giving you hand consistency, because you will have a lot of Grade 3s in your hand, but you will need them for, just more support for all your other plays. I also run 3 of the Heavenly Shock of Distinction, Legrail. On rearguard, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you unit blast 2, rest any number of your other rearguards until the end of that battle. This unit performs drive checks and gets plus 5 until the end of that battle. If you rested 3 or less units for this card, you choose 3 cards from your hand and discard them. And if you rest 1 or less for this card, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. It's a real risk card to take for the drive check. It all depends on what you feel you'll get from those resources for high risk, high reward, but still a very good card to rely on after your Bastion attacks. And for the new support in the set, I am also running 3 of the Heavenly Pike of Solactation Korvac with this card on rearguard. Soul Blast 1 and rest this unit. Look at 3 cards on the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Grade 3 or greater card from a different card name from this unit from among them. Call it to rear. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. More setup with this card. It's a searcher, so definitely useful just for that added backup in the Bastion deck. And also 3 of the new Heavenly Arrow of Sure Hit Spare Rare. From the front row rearguard, when this unit is stood by a Vanguard ability, you can Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. So just that draw power, it comes in handy. You will build up the soul pretty handily with this deck. And from the back row, during your turn, all of your other rearguards in the same column as this unit get plus 5,000 power. Just adding the additional, back row power with this card definitely helps with our order. that is the Pride to Protect. You play this card with a discard from your hand. It is a set order. It will remain on the field, giving these cards boost, adding that additional boost power from the back row being a 13k with boost even more with Bastion's potential to restand all of the rear guards. And for more of that soul buildup, running 4 of the Knight of Broadaxe Refluke on rearguard. Put this unit into your soul. Choose one of your grade 3 rearguards. It gets plus 10,000 till end of turn. So this is one of the cards you call off of your Alden. Then you just have more and more power to rely on. You have the draw 2. Then you can put your Refluke into the soul, giving Alden your plus 10, plus 5 from itself, plus 2 from Bastion. It all stacks up for some pretty big numbers. And then lastly, just one Fasado. This card definitely just got reduced in numbers due to all the other support we've gotten. That's just much more consistent for the deck, but still having this one tech card to protect from any cards you probably may have that would retire units on the field, and then have the potential counter charge and soul charge build up using it. And then as for the grade 1s, we had no grade 2s in this deck. The only grade 1 we run are the 4 Aegis Mare Dragons, being the Sentinel of choice, conserving cards in your hand. Even if you have to discard cards, the good majority you'll have are grade 3s that you can't even guard with, that you would either just call out to the field to use as boosters or attackers. But still, definitely a 4 of staple in the deck. And also for the orders, we're running 4 of the set order, which is Pride to Protect. You play with a discard from your hand, and from your order zone, all of your grade 3 rear guards get boost. Having 4 of this means you just consistently see it more often, so you do have that option, because other than that, the only thing that has boost in the deck is the Aegis Mare, which you definitely do not want to call. So having the Pride to Protect as an added option to give all the other much better grade 3s that boost support will definitely show up a lot more than you would think normally. But 4 of set order, definitely. And now, moving on to the triggers. We're going with the 7 criticals, so 4 of the Blade Feather Dragon. Being another card you put into the soul definitely helps for that soul build-up resource, because the Soul Blast 2 to draw off of our spare rare will eat away those resources. You want to make sure you don't Soul Blast the Bastion also, because you'll need it for the grade 4 Bastion. And 3 of the Knight of Heavenly Hammer, Gurgant, just as the one of choice, most fitting, since it is one of the Bastion criticals. And for the draw, we're running 4 of the new Protection Magic Perobi. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets a plus 5,000 shield. So it's a 10k shield from your hand. In the Bastion deck, that definitely will come up a lot more with all the more needed guard cards to use. You don't really need front triggers as much, because your Bastion grade 4 can just add more for the pressure for actual restanding and rear guards attacking. And then lastly, 4 of the Healer of Heavenly Staff for the heal trigger. Once again, just fitting with the Bastion lineup. And Martinoa is insanely broken in this deck with just more restands for that drive check option, also giving 100 million and then giving all of the rear guards drive checks attacks also, just evening your odds for you revealing a grade 3 on that attack. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Definitely a very, very scary deck, but, you know, Bastion's always been that way since the first set it was released in. And as always, definitely look forward to more deck updates from the Awakening of Chakrabarthi booster set. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.